Do you know how beautiful you are? Have you ever stopped to look at yourself? To see yourself in your truth? In the clarity of who you are? In your magnificence? If only you could see what I can see. If only you could know what I know of you. You would stand before yourself in awe. You would see yourself you would feel yourself. You would know yourself. And so I invite you in this moment to see how beautiful you are. To see yourself in clarity, in simplicity, in your true nature. I invite you to see yourself. You are so beautiful.
Hello, I'm Lisa Pavati. I could not be more thrilled and honored to be here with you for Peace Week, sharing about creating youth climate impact projects with GenEarth. I want to, as we begin, acknowledge that I am on the traditional native lands of the Tonkawa, Lipan Apache, Comanche, Caddo, Cherokee, Cowichan, Karunkwa, and Wichita peoples in Austin, Texas. And I am the founder and director of the Sustainable Living Guide. My pronouns are she, her, which we share in solidarity with our diverse community. And I am just thrilled to be welcoming into the Peace Week and World Unity community, the Unity Earth community, to youth change makers that I have the highest admiration for. We're going to be speaking with Elliana Stratton and Anna Nachbar-Seckel. I'm going to be inviting these ladies to introduce themselves in just a moment, but first, I want to acknowledge and give tremendous gratitude and respect to their power and the rising power of the youth climate movement, which I am just really, really grateful to be able to be supporting. we'll start with Elliana, who was one of the founders of the GenEarth Youth Climate Impact Program that we'll be talking about today. Welcome, Elliana.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you so much. So I'm Elliana. I have been working with the Sustainable Living Guide for about 2 years now, and it has just been a pleasure to be part of the Climate Toolkit and also help to develop this youth program that we've developed called Generation Earth. And we're so excited to talk about our Youth Climate Impact Project with you guys.
Thank you so much. Welcome. And Elliana is an amazing scientist in her own right. So very grateful for your knowledge and wisdom as well as your passion in this project. Next, I want to appreciate and introduce Anna. Anna has recently come into our organization and has moved right into leadership in GenEarth, as well as participating in the trauma-informed change-making programs that we do and bring into our youth climate activism. Anna, welcome. I'll invite you to introduce yourself as well.
Hi, thank you, Lisa. My name is Anna Nachbar-Seckel. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm currently in Washington, D.C., so I would also like to respect that I'm on the ancestral lands of the Nacotchtank and the Piscataway people. And I am really honored to be a part of this discussion. I have really enjoyed working with Sustainable Living Guide and especially with GenEarth and on trauma-informed change-making as well. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. Really appreciate you both being here and getting to co-create together. I want to invite Elliana. Would you like to do the first introduction of what the GenEarth Youth Climate Impact Program is?
Sure. So the Youth Climate Impact Program, we've developed a project to assist college groups, but it can also be used for the individual as well. And this program is going to provide a bunch of information to the learner about different aspects of the climate crisis. And then it's also going to guide them to create a project in their own community or on their campus, wherever they decide to develop that. And it's going to be really interesting because it's going to first walk through all of the different aspects, and then it's going to teach the learner the difference between mitigation versus adaptation, which both are extremely important concepts, and both need to be applied for sure. And then it's going to help the learner develop a goal so that they can efficiently and feasibly achieve their project in whatever setting they decide to do.
Thank you. Wonderful. When the groups are working together, they can be a campus club, they can be a group of friends. There's a huge amount of youth autonomy that's been woven into this project, where they're getting an online class for education and developing a project that is really meaningful to them in their community where they live, as well as doing amplification on social and doing a youth climate impact summit at the culmination of the project next spring. I want to invite Anna to talk a little bit about, when you look at that arc of experience for young people coming into this program, what are you especially excited about?
I think I'm most excited to see young people get excited themselves, I guess. I think that a lot of people find making a climate impact to be a really daunting thought, or something that people find really challenging because they don't really know where to start. And so I think that I'm just excited to get this really amazing tool out into the world, so that young people just feel like they can make an impact and that they will be changing lives and they'll be changing their environment and their local community. And I think, yeah, I'm really excited to see people feel inspired by that.
Thank you. That's so beautiful. When we think about making that tangible impact, I think I'm gonna look to Elliana for this next question and invite you to speak a little bit to the science of understanding the issues of the climate crisis and scoping topics that are really relevant in their communities and finding ways to really make an impact in them. And then Anna, we'll come back to you to talk about the social change aspect, which is interconnected there.
Yeah, so these projects I feel are aimed very for the local level, especially if you're looking from the college student perspective. You're on your campus, you're in a college town. What can you do to help improve the community there? And so a lot of these projects are going to be based on where you live specifically. So not everybody is going to have the same projects, and they're not all going to be equally helpful in a different place versus where you're going to implement it yourself. And so you've seen a lot of things in the news about unpredictable weather and the wildfires, and some of these things could be achieved. But I think if we're talking about the college student, we're going to be looking at things like waste. We're going to look at unnecessary water usage, how we can help with energy, and just focusing on things that directly impact yourself, but also the people around you that you interact with every day. And so the most important thing is that you don't have to have the same project as somebody in 3 states over. It's not going to apply to them the same way it's going to apply to you, and vice versa. And that's what makes this project so special, is that there's just so much diversity in what could be produced from these projects out of the program. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really amazing. And it was such an interesting and not simple task to try to come up with what are these major issues of the climate crisis and helping people understand, rather than this huge ephemeral giant thing that we feel, how do we even begin? But to start to break down, well, what are these issues and how are they at play where I live, so I can actually identify something that's going on in my community that I can make a tangible impact on. Do you want to just, I'm going to come back to Elliana for one more question with that. Talk a little bit about how we're scoping that with the climate action matrix.
So with the climate action matrix, we're going through different categories of the climate crisis. So where we have bigger sections talking about human-made systems, ecological systems, social connections. So that would include things like finance and politics, and then coming around to
policy, public sector.
Yeah, more of the public sector. So looking at self-care and climate justice and elements like that. And all of these categories as well have very different core issues, and contribute all differently to the climate crisis. And so we're giving the opportunity for these groups to choose what category they think they can implement a change the most for their community, and then helping to guide them to create that change. And there's so many different combinations that they could do with that. And yeah, I just think that it's incredible what could be produced from this project, because it really is limitless if you look at what needs to be implemented in a specific community.
Absolutely. And I think it's really profound that we're helping to establish a conversation, a communication about what are these overarching issues and large topics that can be addressed by youth from around the world. And then we'll be getting into Zoom convergences like this with large groups of people and being able to talk about what's happening there at a global level. But in the meanwhile, they're identifying their local issues, and they don't really need to have expertise coming into this. They just need to have passion.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think that for a lot of these projects, students aren't going to need any kind of really expertise or outside help if they can develop a project that is feasible for them, that they can achieve on their own. And I think that that's really fulfilling and humbling to say that you did this on your own and you didn't have to go out and find extra help for it. It was just a bunch of students that come together and they can see the change that they've made.
That's so powerful to bring together young people who are passionate about making a difference in the climate crisis and give them what we often call a breathable blueprint and the support system to do their thing is really, really thrilling. And as we look at the climate crisis, it's interwoven with the ecological and the social, and it can't be separated. In fact, in this climate action matrix, which is our model, the Sustainable Living Guide's model for understanding the climate crisis, we have what we call a base plate, or a base layer of the conversation, which is social justice, meaning that any conversation that's happening on the matrix is always relevant to social justice, that it's rooted in the inequities of our world and colonialism, white supremacy, and the injustices of our world. And the outcomes of any issue that we're talking about are going to impact, potentially going to impact historically marginalized communities, such as BIPOC, women, and others more. So we recognize that this is really interwoven. And I'm going to invite Anna to address this in whatever way you'd like.
Yeah, I mean, I second what you're saying. I think it's extremely important to take that into account because depending on where you are in the world, or even where you are within a city, or whether you're in a rural area or a city, or basically there are so many factors that make different people vulnerable in different ways to the climate crisis. And at the same time, the climate crisis is also not created equally. The people that create the climate crisis are usually the ones that are least affected by the climate crisis, and vice versa. So I think it's very important that that is our base plate. And I'm not sure what else to say about it.
Do you want to talk a little bit maybe about the consciousness change of moving into, the trauma-informed change-making aspects of unity or love or that connectedness?
Yeah, sure. So in trauma-informed change-making, there are like 16 main principles, and many of them have to do with how you interact with others. There's also many that have to do with how you see yourself as well. But for example, one of the principles is love in action. And I think that if people really embody that, there will be really great outcomes for the way that we move beyond the climate crisis. When I envision a world beyond the climate crisis, it definitely is a world where people truly love and care deeply for each other. And so I think when we have these principles in front of us and we really take our time to breathe with them in a way, we can transform our world. And some of the other principles are intention and purpose. And I think all of these can make especially young people feel very, very empowered to take on something that is a huge issue, but that can be broken down and that can be taken on with feeling centered and feeling empowered, and also uniting together as a community.
That's so beautiful. I just want to really let that resonate. I just want to hold silence for a moment, just sit with that. That's just so beautiful and profound. The solutions, the transformation for the climate crisis, it begins in our hearts. how we see ourselves, how we see each other, how we feel our own innate potency, our power with our being, our power with each other, our power with the living earth as part of the living earth, that we are the living earth healing itself. And there's huge sustenance in that, and there's joy and beauty. I think one of the things that's so beautiful in doing this kind of science-backed social justice, spiritual development type of change-making work is that we're really growing ourselves and growing the consciousness and the culture that we want in the world, starting within and then implementing it directly and in overt, strong, intentional ways in the world. I want to invite both of you to speak to how has, in working with the with GenEarth's Youth Climate Impact Program, how has that shifted how you see the climate crisis, how you see yourself, or what's possible? Really anything you'd like to talk to about your own journey of transformation. Elliana, would you like to start?
Sure.
Thank you.
So I didn't mention it earlier, but I am an environmental science student. I'm getting a master's degree right now. So I do have the climate science background, and being able to work in this space has really opened up my eyes for outreach specifically, and just education and relaying information to people, especially people my age, where, you know, we're the next generation who is going to, you know, have the next biggest impact, and the choices that we make now are going to lay out our future and lay out the future for future generations. And being able to educate people about why I care and why they should care as well is so important to me. I just think, you know, if people ask you why you care about the climate crisis so much, it's because you live on this planet, you know, and if the earth is at risk, then so are you. And a lot of people don't seem to realize that, but that's just the reality of how it is. And being able to get more youth involved in projects like this and getting them to understand what is happening scientifically with our planet is just so important. And we need to be able to all, I think this program is going to help a lot more people come together and be more in unity with what is happening. And that way we can enact more change.
Thank you. Yes. Huge yes. Yes, yes. And Anna.
Yeah, thank you, Elliana. I feel the same way. I also feel like when I graduated from university a year and a half ago almost, and I think although I was studying society and environment, so environmental justice or sustainability and justice, in other words, and although I was studying this, I feel like I didn't throughout college ever feel like I really had the tools to turn my knowledge into a direct impact. And so I am really excited for this program to be launched and for people to have this very thought out, I guess, tool to teach them, like, this is how you can do this thing once and then do it over and over again. And it is something that you really can do over and over again forever. You can keep creating projects and you can keep being inspired to create something with a group of people that are like-minded, and create change in your community. So I wish I had this when I was in college.
Thank you. And just so people know the demographic for GenEarth, it's focused on and created with people in their 20s and teens. So while a lot of our colleagues and focus demographic are in college, they certainly don't need to be, and can be anywhere in the world with any level of education or access. We are going to make sure they get access to this education. And we have a very robust scholarship program. So everybody who needs access to this program is going to get it. I think it's also really special that when we're talking about the climate impact projects people can do, they can choose a one-day event. They can choose something that goes many months or many seasons or is ongoing. And like Anna's saying, they can do it again and again, because really what we're learning is heart-centered resilience, love in action. How do we envision and embody with co-creative flow a thriving world for all? And as we continue to move into it, to grow into it, what do we now envision? Because that's going to be different. And what do we envision after that? Because we're going to be at a different place. I want to invite you both to speak for a moment on the co-creative process and that leveling up of ideas collectively. So I think often people feel isolated. What can I do to make a difference? And this isn't just unifying, it's a convergence of potency in a really unique way. Who would like to start?
I can go ahead.
Great, thank you.
So I think this is probably one of my favorite things about Sustainable Living Guide as well, just as a whole, is that the co-creative aspect has been the basis of how we develop our ideas for all of the content that we produce. And essentially, it's all of us in a room together, in a Zoom room together, and we all just relay our ideas out and we put it out on the table. And sometimes it's, just a document and we all type a bunch of ideas on there, and then we take some time to read through it, and we come back and we talk about what we liked, what we didn't like. How can we improve this one idea and make it better and level it up? And it's just so important, especially when you're developing these kinds of projects, like the youth project, or really anything else that you're doing with a team setting. And, you're giving your ideas, and everybody else is helping you develop it, rather than just you hoping that everybody is on the same page as you. And so when you have the co-creative aspect, people can support you, people can question why you might think that way, which, develops some further thinking for you on your part. And that makes you go deeper with your ideas as well. And then sometimes it might just be changed, or we'll save it for later. And no idea is a bad idea. It can always be used for a later purpose. But being in the co-creative space really helps to brainstorm. And even if you don't have a really concrete idea, you can bring it to everybody who's in your team, and they can help you develop from there. So that way no one is left behind with their content. And it's really beautiful, truly.
The culture I want to live in, we're creating together. Thank you.
Exactly.
Yes. And it's all of us. It's that collective genius and that caring and kindness, that understanding that we really are one, that we really are in this together. And we have the ability to move not only through the climate crisis, but into a future that is our heart's highest vision. And that takes creative flow. So Anna, as you talk about that co-creative process you've been experiencing, I want to invite you also to talk about what you're learning about getting into creative flow state yourself. So you're generating different, new, innovative ideas that you might not have had you not learned how to do that. Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Along the same lines as Elliana, I think I have felt myself grow personally and professionally so much throughout the past few months. And I think a lot of it is the co-creative process that we work with. I just am in awe of the things that people can catch. Like if I write something down, no matter how much time I spend on it, someone else will look at it and catch something. And I just think that's so beautiful because you can kind of go in this circular motion and you can really, really help each other out. And so I am excited for people to get to do that with their climate action or climate impact projects. And as for getting into a creative flow state, a lot through my work with the trauma-informed change-making principles, I have learned a lot about breath work, and that has helped me to center myself, even honestly for any challenges I face in my life. I feel like I can really face them head on now, but also with any of the work I do. If I start to feel like my ideas aren't flowing anymore, or I start to get stressed out, I really will just take a moment and take 5 deep breaths, exhale longer than the inhale, like Lisa has taught me. And it really, really centers me. And then also connecting with nature, that is another one of my favorite ways to get into a flow state, especially for doing climate work. I think that it is such a beautiful way of, I guess, getting centered and feeling focused and having a real intention behind the work I'm doing, is going outside and connecting, even if it's just sitting under a tree for a few minutes and just looking at a tree and feeling the roots or whatever. It really can make you feel inspired and have an intention. So I'm loving that.
Wow. Thank you so much for embodying yourself more and more. I'm so honored and grateful to be able to give you tools and mentorship and support, but you're doing it. You're growing yourself, both of you. It's just awe-inspiring. I'm just so touched to get to be part of your journey. I'm going to address for a moment the origin of GenEarth, and I want to acknowledge these amazing people and the dozens of other young people who have been part of GenEarth and are coming in to GenEarth. The Sustainable Living Guide is our mother organization. So Sustainable Living Guide is an online education hub focused on regenerative well-being for the people on the planet. And it's rooted in activism and change-making, innovation and consciousness. And we have numerous branches, focus areas. And one of them, and really the one that we pour a tremendous amount of our focus into, is GenEarth. And sometimes I've been asked, why are you doing youth climate activism in your business? How are you giving your platform? And, how could I not give my platform? I was an environmental activist. I started as a young person. I started marching on Washington when I was in elementary school. I've been doing this all of my life. So I'm just continuing to do the work of bringing forth the voices of the rising generations, doing intergenerational work as well, but really giving platform and focus and support to the rising generations. So when the climate strike started, we partnered in Austin with the two people who founded the Austin climate strikes, Matthew and Emma, who were at the time high school students in Austin. We partnered with members of Sunrise and, of course, our amazing intern community and others in the youth activism community, and said, would you like to be supported? How would you like to be supported? And we've done all kinds of work together and developed these incredible projects. So GenEarth is the first class that we're opening to the public, is our Youth Climate Impact Program, where youth groups can sign up, or individuals can sign up to be part of this year-long program. It's opening now. It'll start very formally in October, but they can even come in a few months later, and it'll culminate in the springtime. We're going to show a video next, because I really want to get to represent some more of our global community and the vision of the full project. We started innovating a couple years ago on this project, and it's developed. We've had lots of different things we've done, but the the Youth Climate Impact Program is really a culmination of the work that we've done together. And it's the very beginning, the very seed of what we're going to get to do next, which is huge. So you'll be hearing in this video from many of the people who have worked on creating the GenEarth's Youth Climate Impact Program. And they're all under 30 and completely brilliant. And I'll give space to roll the video when our team is ready. And thank you to HubCast for supporting us.
My name's Natalie.
My name is Stephen Park.
I'm Alexia.
My name is Elliana.
Hello, my name is Nyla.
We are GenEarth,
a global community of young change makers coming together to take action.
Join us in working with GenEarth's Youth Climate Impact Project. It's a step-by-step program for young activists to design and implement a climate impact project where you live and share it with the huge global community.
Working for the Youth Climate Impact Project has been exciting for me because I'm learning along the way about what causes the climate crisis and what I'm able to do as a person to make a change. It's really powerful because we are the next generation that has the ability to make change, and here we are doing just that.
providing me with a comprehensive education about the climate crisis, from the science behind it to the social and environmental impacts. It has also empowered me with practical knowledge and tools to take action and contribute positively to the environment. Taking action in the climate crisis is important to me because I want to protect and support Earth for future generations. I want these future generations to be able to appreciate and experience Earth for the beauty that it is and has. I want them and us to be able to go outside and see thriving plants, animals, and just nature in general.
I came to think of the nature and myself as a whole being within this world, this earth. And I thought, as a human being, I'm responsible to stop the climate crisis being worse.
I feel a deep responsibility to protect the environment and preserve the planet's natural beauty for the generations that are coming up. And taking action on the climate crisis is seen as a way to fulfill this responsibility.
Every system on the planet is connected in some way, whether we're talking about the Amazon rainforest or the boreal forest in the north or the ocean. And if pieces of that puzzle start to fall apart, then so do the rest. And I want to ensure that there is a livable future for future generations, especially since I want to have a family of my own one day.
Taking action on climate crisis will allow us to begin the healing process that our Earth and future need.
My vision for a world beyond the climate crisis is one that is at peace. There is beauty, co-creation, unity, and Earth and everything that lives on Earth is supported and appreciated equally.
Beyond the climate crisis, I hope that people as a whole can adopt more sustainable ways of living. It will bring us closer together as people, as well as learn not to take the Earth and its resources for granted.
I see a world where people from everywhere can come together and admire the positive change that has been made. The Earth and people are healing due to everyone's hard work and determination.
GenEarth's Youth Climate Action Program is a powerful tool for college and university groups, should they choose to utilize it. It's aimed for groups, but it can also be used for individuals, and it provides them with core climate issues that exist all over the world and allows them to direct projects they wish to implement on their own campus or in their communities.
My message to other young people is to not feel discouraged and not lose hope. Victories should be acknowledged, and this can make a huge impact when done collectively with everyone. And it can also remind us that change is possible.
Our generation is taking the initiative to be climate leaders, and now is the time to take action together.
Thank you. Thank you. Our website is GenEarth.global, GenEarth.global, and we want to invite you to get involved. If you are a young person or know a young person, they can participate with a project, but if you are of an older generation, you, like me, you can support. How can you support? You can support in so many different ways, amplifying their work, being a sponsor, helping us create scholarships, connecting with your nonprofit or your organization or your business, yourself. You can reach us through the website, genearth.global. And our main website is sustainablelivingguide.org, sustainablelivingguide.org. And I want to just give an open mic, give the floor to both of these amazing people to, I think we're all feeling very moved seeing our colleagues, and that this piece was just produced. And I want to invite you to add anything you'd like, share your reactions, share your hope. And Anna, would you like to start? And we'll go to Elliana. Thank you.
Yeah, that video just made me so happy. That is my honest reaction. That's my first time fully watching the video through. And wow, I just felt so inspired by all of the people I've been working with for months now, most of them. That was really nice to watch, and honestly made me feel even more empowered than I've already been feeling the past couple of months doing this work. It's really nice to know that I have this community of people that care so much and that have this like clear, beautiful vision for beyond the climate crisis. That is really all that I could ask for. And it makes me excited that the people behind the GenEarth Youth Climate Impact Program are youth who want to make an impact, who have this beautiful vision, because I think and hope that we will inspire other people like us to also make their own impact.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being part of this and making it happen, each of you make our community whole, make our community real when you come in and bring your brilliance. I'm just awed and humbled every day at how you embody yourselves. And it's such an honor to serve and support you. We'll come to you next, Elliana.
That was beautiful, Anna. Thank you. I'm in total agreement with everything you said. That was also my first time seeing the video, besides myself. And that was just beautiful, just watching the flow of that and being able to see our team and the amount of work that they've put into this program has been incredible. And that I want to acknowledge them, even though they might not be here. They put in so many hours, so much work into it, and it turned out amazing. And I hope that other people will be able to also utilize it. And even if, you're not heavily involved in the climate science of it, or you don't really have a lot of background on the climate crisis at all, don't let that deter you from using this program. We give you a ton of background information to help you figure out what you want to do. And hopefully that can help guide you towards something that is important and impactful for you as well.
Thank you. It's been such an incredible journey to partner with climate youth from around the world. I want to represent that we've worked with people all over the planet currently in our team. There are young people from South and North America, Africa, India, Asia, the Middle East, Europe and the UK, Indonesia. And working with a global community is really intentional, because if we want to serve the global community, we need to envision, understand, innovate with a global community. And it's such an honor to get to share this multicultural space. We also are working with some incredible experts. The instructional design team, our senior design team, instructional designers are people who understand how humans learn, how to design classes in an online space that really facilitate transformational, actionable learning. We've developed our protocols with leading experts from Harvard and Brown University, and work with an incredible team of senior experts who are bringing this vision into form in a way that just has never been done before. I just could not be more excited to be able to launch. We have opened enrollment today on September 20th. So this is our rollout. We're excited to be sharing it with you. Again, the website is GenEarth.global. And ladies, would you each like to share a message for young people when anywhere they are in the world? You know, I know it's Climate Week and people are hopefully taking very seriously the climate crisis. However, the younger generation lives with it in ways that the older generation doesn't, and doesn't need a week to remember that it's real and it's their future. And I know it can be a daunting process and an emotional process and so many other things. And part of our intention and our dedication, our devotion and our passion is to instill hope, to embody hope, to have cause to hope, and let that hope catalyze action, let that love and positive vision catalyze action. I want to invite each of you to speak to that or whatever else you'd like to share. Anna, would you like to start? And then we'll go to Elliana.
Yeah, I'd love to start. I think a lot of this falls in line with what we've already talked about in a way, but I think that my message to fellow youth activists is to take care of yourselves and be kind to yourself. I think that being kind to yourself and caring for yourself truly is the first step to then caring about and being kind towards others. And that is the second step towards caring for a global community and caring about the earth and truly like shifting people's values and just creating positive changes in general. So I think when we come into the climate space and we want to make a positive difference, we need to pay attention to feeling centered and feeling focused and feeling like we have an intention. And again, this can be done by taking a walk through the woods and taking deep breaths and thinking about ideas mulling around in your head, maybe trusting yourself more than you do. I think that's been one of the things that I have been doing some personal growth with. I have a lot of imposter syndrome, and I think I've been learning to trust myself more and trust my ideas more. And it's an amazing process. It feels great. So if you just take it step by step and give yourself some grace and trust and care, I think everyone is capable of doing really amazing things and genuinely changing the world, I hope.
Yes, absolutely. We are the world. We are the world changing, right? There, it's right here. Thank you for that. And Elliana, I want to invite you to speak to the youth, you know, people who identify as climate activists or people who think, I can't make a difference. What would you say?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me is education and just becoming familiar and knowing like the back of your hand what is going on, even if it's just, you know, in your own town or in your own country, because that's what's affecting you most directly. And there's no better time to start taking action than right now. And even if these projects that you're doing are a little small in your mind, they can have a huge impact whether you see it or not. And being able to also find people who agree with you as well and other youth who share similar views with you and want to make a change, being able to collaborate together and develop something beautiful is going to do tremendous things. And I think a lot of the time, a lot of people don't realize the intensity of what might be happening. But while we educate, we also need to not make it pessimistic and instill that hope as well, because there is hope. We just have to take the action so that we can achieve it fully. And, you know, I think just sometimes it's hard to see it in the broad scheme of things, but when you look at it more so how it's affecting you, then I think it's easier for you to understand what you can do. And, you know, you don't have to know all the numbers of what's going on with carbon and, you know, everything like that with the science of it, but just understanding that there's things happening, but that you can also change it for the better. And I think that's really important to keep in mind.
Thank you. Yes, these are, I hope I'm honoring these words and feeling them resonating out into our world, that we have hope. We are hope. We are the hope of the world. And because we're centered in love, because we're centered in connection with the earth and with each other, that potency, that sustenance is infinite. So we can continue to draw that through us. We talk about connecting with nature, right? We are nature, just as much of that creative, regenerative life force that's flowing through those beautiful trees that we want to go touch and those amazing flowers that we want to connect with. We are that. And embodying that is such a profound thing. And I'm just so grateful to be able to work with this community. I want to appreciate Elliana and Anna for your presence tonight, for your presence in this project, and especially for your presence on the planet at this time, fully stepping into who you are and modeling that for others to do the same. It's so powerful. It's so profound. And I know that there's many people who are really inspired by this broadcast tonight. I'll restate our website, and we invite you to please reach out to us. Send an email and tell them what you liked tonight, or reach out if you want to connect. Maybe you want to work with us. Maybe you just want to send some encouragement. Maybe you'd like to make a donation and help make this project possible. This is completely so far non-funded. It's just a love offering, and those donations make a really big help. And maybe you have young people that you can introduce this to in your lives, or maybe they're people you're connected with on social or internationally. It's really important to us to be a unifying space where we're going to welcome everyone, we're going to support them, and make sure this is accessible for our global community of youth. So our website again is GenEarth.global, GenEarth.global, and our main website is sustainablelivingguide.org, sustainablelivingguide.org. I want to give appreciation to Unity Earth and Peace Week, to We the World, and all the people who are coming together to make Peace Week possible, to make ongoing change possible, to step in to our collective heart, to envision and embody that thriving world for all that already is coming fully alive within us right here and right now. And as we finalize and end this broadcast, I want to invite you in your own time to take some breaths tonight and envision, what does that thriving world look like? And let's walk into it hand in hand, hearts together, because we are the change that we've sought. We are right here, right now. We are GenEarth. Thank you.